गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे गुरुनैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Namaste to one and all. I am Lakshmi. My guru is Mata Ananta Lakshmi Natarajan. She runs a trust called P.N. Ramachandra Iyer Trust and also a Samskrita Sangha called Geeta Govinda Samskrita Sangha. I was a student in that Sangha and now I am also a staff teaching Samskrita for all age groups. By her grace, I could complete all the 4 exams of Sura Saraswati Sabha in Sanskrit and also all the Sanskrit exams from Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. Also, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan's Bhagavad Gita exams were also completed by me. And also by her grace, I could complete all the exams from Samskrita Bharati as well. I can say my major life turning point is when I met Mata Ananta Lakshmi Natarajan. She is the one who instilled the interest to move in the spiritual path. She also made me realize that what we are living in this world and what we are seeing in each person and body is all temporary. It's all like a dream, but the final goal is to realize ourselves. It is because only of her grace and Bhagavan's grace and Acharya's grace that this thought has been instilled in me. Geeta Govinda Samskrita Sangha, even to this day, coaches children and people of all ages for all Samskrita exams, Bhagavad Gita, and also teaches all children small prakarana granthas of acharyas, and they do many social activities. So I am grateful to God for putting me in this satsanga. On the occasion of this Margazhi festival, I would like to talk upon a very profound topic, very simple but very eternal topic of bhakti. Bhakti yoga is possible in today's world. I would like to start with a small story from Bhagavatam. One day, our Narada Maharshi will be passing through a forest. He will see one young lady sitting there and 2 old men sleeping next to her. That time, Narada Maharshi will ask that young lady, Kasi tvam kamimau chema naryaha patmalocanaha vada devi savistaram swasya dukkasya karanam. Kasi tvam, who are you? Kavimau chema, who are these 2 people? Vada Devi, please tell me, swasya dukkasya karanam, the reason for your sadness. That time, that young lady will say, Bhaktiriti kyata imau me tanayau matau jnana vairagya namanau kala yogena jarjarau. Bhaktiriti kyata, I am known as Bhakti. Imau me tanayau matau, these 2 are my sons. Jnana Vairagya Namano, named as Jnana and Vairagya. Kala Yogena Jarjaro, during the time who have gained old age. Yes, this is a reality in today's world. There is no doubt there is lot of bhakti in present world. Bhakti is flourishing. If we take many temples, take Tirupati or Guruvayur Kshetra or Arunachaleshwarar in Tamil Nadu, people are flooding the temples. We have to stand in queue for hours and hours together to see Bhagavan. There is rush and everything. So there is lot of bhakti. But what about both of the sons of bhakti, Jnana and Vairagya? Without Jnana and Vairagya, it is very difficult to trade this path of spiritualism. Vishaya Vairagya will come when, for example, when we see somebody's death, a very close relative's death, when Vairagya comes in us, what is this? Till yesterday they were alive, today, so this is today they are no more with us. This this life is temporary, and all these spiritual matters will come in a flash of a second. And we earn that Vairagya, virakti towards everything, but that will last only for some duration. At the same time, if Vairagya comes because of Jnana, a guru tells us that you are not the body, you are the self. Takshana, Jnana, which will lead to Vairagya, is permanent. Bhakti itself is Jnana. So, Bhakti only with its both accessories, Jnana and Vairagya, will be helpful for us. Acharya, in his very Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada, in his very famous text of Viveka Chudamani, Acharya has said, Swaswaroopanusandhanam bhaktirithyabhidhiyate iti. Swaswaroopanusandhanam, anusandhana of our own self, realizing our own self, being centered in our own self is bhakti. This is true bhakti. But what has happened in today's world? It has become like a business. We pray, oh Bhagavan, tomorrow I will put 10,000 rupees in this particular kshetra and you please clear my job interview. I will put 25,000 or 1 lakh rupees in Tirupati or some other kshetra, you please fix my son's marriage. This is what is happening in today's world. Bhakti is not a business. It is the true selfless love between Bhagavan and the devotee. In this materialistic world, the true selfless love is between a mother and a child. The child doesn't expect anything from the mother, but loves her selflessly. The mother, throughout the life, will love a child selflessly, doesn't expect anything out of that child, but the love flows. If a mother and a child can exhibit selfless love, just think about the love between Bhagavan and a devotee. Bhagavan doesn't expect anything. He doesn't expect our wealth or anything. Only thing he requests us, you seek me. He says, you look at me. Enough. I am always looking at you. You are the one who are failing to look at me. We can take Bhagavan for our mother or our father or any relative. Once, I will take a small anecdote from Gospels of Ramakrishna. There, one devotee comes to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and he says, I am attached to one goat. I am not at all able to forget the goat. Wherever I am reminded of that goat. I love that goat so much that is stopping me from spiritual activities as well. So, what is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's reply for that devotee is, you see Bhagavan in that. Bhagavan is that goat. Think Bhagavan as that goat. And this solved his problem. Directly reaching Nirguna Brahma is difficult for people like us who are leading a normal life. Starting from Saguna Brahma, reaching Nirguna Brahma is very easy. We can take Bhagavan for any aspect of life we want. In that, I am reminded of an example is again of Bhagavan Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He took Mata Kali as his own mother. He used to cry in front of her. He used to dance. He used to speak to her continuously. He used to even cook and feed her. He used to tell Amma, without you eating, I will not eat. You believe it or not, Mata Kali used to eat that food. Such was the relation between Mata Kali and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. We should also build such relationship. We need to talk to Bhagavan. We can share anything and everything to Bhagavan. There might be some things which we can't share with our parents or children or anybody. But with Bhagavan, all our happiness, all our sadness, all our tension. In today's world, there is no less of tension. So, all that tension we can share it with Bhagavan. And for sure, He will support us. He will give us a solution. We need to build such selfless love with Bhagavan. And Bhagavan promises us, you take one step towards me, I will take 10 steps towards you. And in case of Bhagavan Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Mata Kali proved it. She gave him the biggest thing in the life, self-realization. He used to get himself drowned in the bhakti nectar's lake of nectar. He used to experience bliss continuously. Whatever we achieve in this materialistic world can never give us bliss. Whatever we achieve, that same thing will give us sadness also, no matter what it is. But with Bhagavan, it is not that case. He promises us, I will give you self-realization at the end, which is why you have come to this earth. A very small joke from Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's life itself, I'll tell you now. One lady came to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and said, see, my husband drinks a lot. He always comes home drunk and creates lots of problems and issues and everything. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, don't worry, you bring him here one day. So the lady continuously will keep telling her husband, please come to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa one day, please come, please come. He used to not abide by it. One day he was like, let us see who is this. Let us go and see once what. So both of them come. The man from the window, he will see Ramakrishna Paramahamsa dancing in bliss. There will be tears flowing through his eyes. He will be in front of Mata Kali and he is in his realized state, Parabrahmam state. So he will be dance. He is not aware if he has dress on his body or what is happening around. He is not aware. He is dancing in that state. So this man, he sees this from the window and he thinks, whatever I drink will give this ecstasy for some hours. Which is this drink that is giving him so much of this one? So, why I quoted this is that kind of bliss which God gives us if we have selfless love towards Him. At this juncture, I am reminded of the Navavidha Bhakti, which is again stated in Bhagavatam. That is, 9 types of devotion which is exhibited towards Bhagavan. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam, etc. I will state few examples from each, but as we don't have time to state examples from everything. First is Shravanam. Even in materialistic world, even in our colleges and in our offices, we can learn so many things just by listening. They say first listen. Even in childhood, we have been taught first listen. Shravanam, listening of Bhagavan's Nama, Bhagavat Nama, names of Bhagavan, stories of Bhagavan is enough to instill bhakti in us. If we read the Gospels of Ramakrishna and Gospels of Ramana Maharshi, a great saint in Tiruvannamalai, in Tamil Nadu, if we read these people's book or listen to their stories, that is enough. It gives us lot of peace and the bhakti rasa will automatically come inside. A fine example is Raja Parikshit. He was happily leading king's life and discharging his duties. The moment he got to know his death is arriving in 7 days, he listened to Bhagavatam with total surrender. No selfish motive. There is no feeling. No feeling that after I listened this, I need to do this. Nothing like that. With complete surrender and with complete devotion to Bhagavan, he just heard the Bhagavatam. And you know the result. He attained his moksha. He attained self-realization at the end of 7th day. At the end of 7th day, he understood, I am not this body, I am the eternal self. Even after death, this body is going, but the self will remain. So with Shravanam itself, we can attain moksha or bhakti marga. Next, we can take Kirtanam. Kirtanam is singing Lord's name. Many people will be inclined towards music, singing, etc. Even through singing, we can attain moksha marga. That is bhakti. Example is Tyagaraja Swamigal. He was a great devotee of Lord Rama. He used to spend the entire day in front of Lord Rama. He used to sit in his shop and give away everything in free to all the devotees who came in the name of Rama. He had an elder brother. He was very angry at Tyagaraja Swamigal. He was like, I need to set this fellow right. So one day he threw the Rama Vigraha in a lake. Tyagaraja cried and cried for that Vigraha. And you believe it or not, he got it. Such a person, he has composed a kirtanam which starts like Teliyaledu Rama Bhakti Margamu Teliyaledu Rama Bhakti Margamu, meaning Teliyaledu Rama, I don't know Rama, Bhakti Margamu, I don't know Lord Rama, this Bhakti Marga, such a saint. is telling, I don't know Bhakti Marga. Such is the humility. When we have true bhakti towards Bhagavan and we take everything and anything in this world for Bhagavan, we totally give ourselves to Bhagavan. There is no us or me which is remaining. It is only Bhagavan. Then the humility comes. We get down to earth. This is Kirtanam. Through Kirtanam as well we can attain bhakti and attain ourselves. Next one example I will take is Vandanam, is worshipping Bhagavan. The more and more and more we worship Bhagavan, our ego will get subsided. The ahankara which is in us will get reduced. Bhagavan will pluck it and take it. For this, one fine example is Gajendra Moksha, again stated in Bhagavatam itself, but also very finely stated in Narayaniyam by Bhattadri. He'll say, Hasti Indram tam hastapadmena dhritva chakrena tvam natravaryam vyadhari gandharvesmin mukta shapesha hasti tvatsarupyam prapya dedipyate sma. Gajendra is an elephant king. He gets caught by a crocodile in the lake. He thinks, I am an elephant. I can easily get out from the hold of a crocodile. And if at all I am not possible, I have a huge herd of elephants behind me. I can get it done. He tried, not possible. He called his friends or other herd people. All of them tried together, not possible. He was like, what is this happening? Immediately he remembered, with my ego, with my ahankara, it is not possible to achieve anything in this world. Then he remembers Lord Bhagavan and he does Vandanam. He says, I am surrendering to you, O Bhagavan, please save me. Immediately Bhagavan comes. He comes and rescues Gajendra and gives moksha. You know the story further. Through Vandanam, worship is a very easy marga for bhakti. The more we worship Bhagavan, Bhagavan keeps coming closer to us, and we realize him at one stage. A small anecdote I will tell you here. There will be two people who are continuously fighting. One is a meek fellow, soft fellow. The other one is slightly arrogant fellow and everything. So the arrogant fellow keeps hitting the other person every time, and he keeps scolding him, hitting him, and everything. So what he does, he's a very meek fellow. He doesn't know to fight back or anything. So he just every day he goes home and he says, "Oh Bhagavan, please help me. Oh Bhagavan, please help me. Please help me." He is troubling me so much. So one day what happens? Lakshmi Devi will tell Vishnu Bhagavan, "See, your devotee every day he is calling you to save him. Please go and help him." Vishnu Bhagavan, okay. He'll start coming down to help him. That particular day, Bhagavan is on his way to help him. Okay. That particular day, this arrogant fellow again slaps him or does some cruel thing to him. This meek fellow, he was like, today I am not going to let him, and he'll revert back. And Bhagavan is on his way to help him. He sees him behaving this way and he says, okay, he is able to manage himself. Why does he need my intervention? Bhagavan goes back. The moment that ego comes inside us and we feel that because of me things can happen, because of me this will happen, I can do this, I will do this, there starts our downfall. Confidence is good. Confidence is good by keeping our center in Bhagavan. Once the center is perfect, the circle will be perfect. Self confidence is good. That also we get by God's grace, not by our deeds or anything. Once there is total surrender, God takes care of us. In Bhagavad Gita, God gives us promise. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. I will take care of you. You don't worry. Only duty is you see me. Enough. Such is the promises of Bhagavan. A mother, another small anecdote, okay? Just imagine a situation. In any household, the situation is possible. That is, a mother is cooking in the kitchen and a small child is in the hall and the child is crying. She will wait for some 2 minutes. Is the child becoming quiet? If the child becomes quiet by seeing one or two toys, then the mother continues her work and the child is left alone. But if the child doesn't stop crying, if the child doesn't heed for any toys and continuously keeps crying that the child needs the mother, no matter what work the mother is involved in, she will leave the entire work and come to the child. Similar love is exhibited by God. If there is continuous cry for Bhagavan by us, it is for sure that he will come to us in one or the other form and give us the most important thing, the good conduct for this materialistic life, and finally the self-realization. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa will tell how you need to pray to God to get him is just imagine your head is immersed in a tub of water. How hard do we try to come out of that for breath? Such effort should be there from our side to attain Bhagavan. To run this materialistic life, that is his job. He will take care. When he can create this entire body, he knows how to carry it forward. But what is our duty? What is our goal in life is to reach him. Now, we have spoken of bhakti for around half an hour or so. Somebody will ask us, what is the use of this bhakti? Why should we follow bhakti and attain Bhagavan and everything? That is actually a very valid question. I would like to start with one comparison. All of us would have had desires. When we were in school, we need to get first rank in 5th standard. Then we need to get state rank in 10th class. And we need to get a good engineering course. And after we get a good engineering course, then we have to get a good job. Job should pay us some X lakhs. That job should be in our field of engineering. Okay, all these satisfied. Then he got some X plus 1 lakh package. I need to get X plus 2. Then I should get married. Okay, Bhagavan grants us that also. Then child should be born. Then child should get into good school, good education. Will continue. Never ending cycle. The desires never ever stops in this materialistic world. Amongst all these desires, can we say that we were completely happy in any one state? Just think for some 2 seconds. Let us introspect. We have achieved so many things in our life. We have got a good engineering college, we got an excellent job, we got married, we got children. Our children are well settled. Are we happy? Did we experience complete happiness anywhere in this whole cycle? It is the time for us to think. And for sure, the answer is no. We could have experienced happiness for a short while, but the everlasting happiness is for sure not got in this materialistic world. For us to move forward in the life, we need a stick with which we can move forward. That stick is Bhakti Marga and Dharma Patha. To walk in the dharmic path with a stick of bhakti is what is required. Otherwise, our life is not complete. Just let us take 2 minutes if out every day for Bhagavan. Let us not expect anything, but for 2 minutes, let us settle ourselves down in a place, leave everything away, just for 2 minutes, be centered in Bhagavan. The whole lot of positive energy comes to us. The whole day is calm and peace. We don't get angry at anybody. If our children doesn't listen to us, we don't shout at them. We are in a calm state. That is what is required. Present busy day, busy life, there is no time for us to pause and check if our energy is right. We need to pause for 2 minutes a day. Don't tell me we don't have 2 minutes a day. However busy we are, let us be CEO of a company or the managers or whatsoever. Definitely we can take out 2 to 5 minutes time for ourselves. Pause and check if our energy is right. Then our house is happy. Once the house is happy, the entire life is happy. How is this positive energy got? We saw some time back that how Mata Kali gave Ramakrishna Paramahamsa the eternal bliss. That is possible only by Bhagavan's grace. If we follow bhakti towards Bhagavan, it is possible to attain peace and calmness throughout the life. And that is what is needed. There is no great thing in becoming a billionaire and a millionaire and having a bungalow and 10 cars. That is not richness in life. Richness should be from within. We need to maintain calmness and peaceness, which can be propagated to the entire world and our future generation, by which the world is happy. More than the world, we are happy. And through Bhakti Marga, Bhagavan guarantees this. Let us, okay, many of the housewives or anybody in this busy world, the complaint is we don't have time. Valid. We are into too many activities that we don't have time. But when we are cooking, if we think of Bhagavan, chant his name and cook, the food that is prepared becomes prasada. Isn't it not? When we are cleaning the house, we can think of Bhagavan, chant his name, sing his leelas. When we are getting our children ready to school, if Bhagavad Dhyana is there, Bhagavad Nama is there in our tongue, it becomes a kavacha for the children. It becomes like a protective cover for the children. We need not worry further what energy they are going to meet, because initially itself we have given the what do we say, the protection with positive energy. Similarly, in our day to day activities, if we can think of Bhagavan, chant his name, keep him in our mind, that is enough. That itself is a big sadhana. That every day, when this continues, it becomes a practice. Once it becomes practice, without our knowledge, it continues and becomes a bhakti dhara. This for sure will lead us slowly to self realization, the most important thing in our life. Ramana Bhagavan will tell, chant Bhagavan's Nama when you are walking, it becomes pradakshina. When we are walking and doing things in our day to day life, if we chant Bhagavan's Nama, let us not concentrate. Let us not put if we are so busy, and let us not put our energy in concentrating in the Nama that we are speaking. Just without knowledge, just Bhagavat Nama is enough. Slowly, as the days proceed, we ourselves will start noticing that what are we saying? What does it mean? This becomes the next level of spiritual progress. And slowly we understand the meaning. We attain that Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Shravana over, Mananam over, next is we start contemplating on that. This all happens automatically. That is the grace of Bhagavan. It happens by the grace of Bhagavan. If we promise him that now I am ready to attain you, enough. God will take a charge and he will march forward. The final aim of life is not to be known as a billionaire, but to leave this body easily, without effort, and with Bhagavat Nama in our mouth. How is it possible? Just like this, one day I say, okay, I should have Bhagavat Nama in my mouth when I die. So when I die, it will come out of it. It is not going to work that way. Continuous practice is necessary. Every day, every second, Bhagavan should be in front of us. Bhagavad Dhyana should be there. Bhagavat Nama will be there. Whatever we think at our last moment is what we attain in the next Janma. If we think of Bhagavan and shed this body, for sure we will achieve moksha. Our aim should be to stop this cycle. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jhatare shayanam. Iha samsare bahudustare kripaya pare pahimurare. Bhagavad Padacharya, in his very famous Mohamudgara, Bhajagovindam, he tells, Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Again birth, again punarapi janani jhatare shayana. Again coming into mother's womb. Iha samsare bahudustare. It is very scary. Kripaya pare pahimurare. Please help me cross this sea. Enough. Every Janma new trouble, every Janma new sadness. Even Bhagavan Krishna or Rama, when they came down to earth as avatara, they also struggled. So, what about us? Enough. Our aim should be is to cross this sea of mundane existence. How is this possible? It is possible by Bhakti Marga, specifically for current day. I can strongly say that Bhakti Marga is the easiest. In our previous days, there were a lot of dharma followed, everything was there. So, jnana, studying in Gurukula, everything was possible. But in today's world, Bhakti Marga is the easiest. Okay, now we have told what is the importance of bhakti, why we need to attain. At this juncture, I am reminded of a very beautiful incident of Ajamila. This is again stated in Bhagavatam, but I would like to quote here. Ajamila was a man who went in a very wrong path in his life. But he named his son Narayana. Every time he used to call Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. At the end moment when he was in his deathbed, he called out to his son Narayana and he shed his body. So when Yamadutas came to carry him to hell, it was stopped by Vishnu Bhagavan and the troop. And they said, he was continuously chanting my name. And at the end, he shed his body with the name Narayana in his mouth. Then how can you take him? Such efficient or such importance is given to just chanting of Bhagavat Nama, just uttering, not even by understanding the meaning and having a lot of pujas and everything, not required. Just Nama Sankirtana is what God requires. Just by chanting Narayana, by calling his son's name, Ajamila was carried away by Vishnu's people, not by Yamadhuta. Why I quoted this is the importance of just Bhagavat Nama Sankirtanam and what is our final goal. Sri Shankaracharya Bhagavad Padal, in his very famous text of Shivananda Lahari, he tells very beautifully, he quotes, Naratvam Devatvam Nagavana Mrugatvam Ashakata Pashutvam Kitatvam Bhavatu Vihagatva Dijananam Sada Tutpadabjasmaranam Paramananda Lahari Vihara Saktam Ched Dhritayamiha Kim Tena Vapusha. Naratvam Devatvam, let me be God, let me be human. Nagavana Mruga, let me be a forest, let me be a tree, let me be a mosquito, let me be an insect, let me be whatever I want. Only thing that I request you is keep me under your feet. Keep me centered in you, is what Bhagavan requests for. Shivananda Lahari is a text of complete bhakti rasa. Bhakti flows ceaselessly, and how Acharya is interpreted, it can never be repeated until unless Bhagavan wishes to. And one more beautiful shloka what Acharya says is Sada mohatavyam charati yuvatinam kuchagirau natatyasha shakha swatiti jhatiti swairamabitaha कपालिन् भिक्षो मे हृदयकपिम् अत्यन्तचपलं दृढं भक्त्या बद्ध्वा शिव भवदधीनं कुरु विभो. Meaning, Oh Bhagavan, Kapalin, he calls, oh hunter. You are so happy for hunting. So what you do, you hunt a monkey. Who is that monkey? My Hridaya. Hridaya Kapim Atyanta Chapalam, very fickle minded. Today I want this, tomorrow I want that, tomorrow I want to reach there, tomorrow I want to reach CEO position, tomorrow I want to reach. Continuous fickle minded. Kapi, monkey, is my Hridaya. You hunt that monkey, keep it with you, and do what? Dridam bhaktya bhadva. Tie it with the strong bhakti towards you and keep it with you. Shiva bhavad adinam. Bhavat adinam. Make it surrender to you completely. Keep it under your feet. Adhinam. Kuru vibho. Such is the pleading from Bhagavan. Similar pleading we should have towards Bhagavan. There is a way that Ramana Bhagavan asks Arunachaleshwarar, Bhagavan, see, if I knew how to come to you, I would have come. If you give list that only if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can come towards me, very difficult. If I knew, I would have come to you. So now I don't know. I don't have these 5 qualities also. So you do one thing. You bring all those 5 qualities inside me. You come, you take me and go. This is what great saints have shown Bhakti Marga. Is taking Bhagavan for our closest person and speaking to him and asking him to make us one with him. Now, one important question will come. What is the pramana to follow for bhakti in today's world? And I can confidently say it is Bhagavad Gita. Not only me, my guru, Acharya, everybody says the pramana for bhakti to be followed in present day is Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, long ago he stated, a specific chapter is there in Bhagavad Gita called Bhakti Yoga, specifically for bhakti. Why? Because bhakti has a huge importance, not only for those days, present day and days to come also. Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyupahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. You don't give me 10 varieties of sweets, 25 varieties of fruits and so many things. Patram, pushpam, one fruit or one flower or one leaf or anything. Yome bhaktya prayachati. There is the catch. Yome bhaktya prayachati. With bhakti. You offer it with bhakti. That is enough. No need pomp and show that I am organizing this many yaga yajnas, that, this. But without bhakti in heart, all those are futile. With bhakti, one uddarni of water is enough for Bhagavan to accept our Naivedya. Continuingly, he says in Bhakti Yoga, Krishna, what you need to do, he tells, first you completely surrender yourself to me. Okay, now that total surrenderance is not possible. You do one thing. Keep me in your mind whenever you do whatever things. Then even if that is not possible, now in this world though excuses are too many. If we say, okay, now I can't think of Bhagavan all time what we do, then what do we do? Whatever work you do, offer it to me, Krishna says. Whatever work we do, let it be household, let it be official, let it be social, whatever we do, Offer it to Lord Krishna. That time, Arjuna, even if that is not possible, what do we do, Bhagavan? For that also, Sri Krishna tells, okay, that is also not possible. Do all your work without expecting the fruit. That is enough. That is the catch. All these simple examples, what Lord Krishna has told us in Bhagavad Gita, has to be followed by each one of us in present day life. And by following all this, what do we get? God will come to us and give us the eternal bliss and also lead us in dharmic path and make sure our life also in this materialistic plane also is peaceful and calm. That is what is required. Slowly continuing through across the 18 adhyayas of Bhagavad Gita, at the end he tells, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Don't worry. Sarvadharman parityajya. Leave all dharma, all activities, everything. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Sharanam means surrender only to me. Aham tvam, I will do to you what? Sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. Of whatever papa you have attained, I will free you from all those. Such guarantee. Such a profound what I am not getting such profound guarantee. Who will give us in this present day world? Bhagavan gives us. So, by all this, what do we understand? Is bhakti yoga is possible, very much possible in present day, and it is absolutely necessary for each one of us to lead a pleasant, peaceful life and also attain the eternal bliss and self realization. On this occasion, I would like to request and plead everybody, let us spare just 5 minutes of our time in every day for Bhagavan. It should be just Bhagavan and us. Let us be in a family life, let us have a professional life around, but that 5 minutes a day, it should be just Bhagavan and us and nobody else. We should be centered in Bhagavan for those 5 minutes. We should collect all the positive energy. And if we do this early in the morning, please be sure that your entire day is going to be fantastic. It is going to be calm, it's going to be peaceful. With calmness and peacefulness, we can solve any problems. Let it be any household problem or any professional problem or any social problem. When we have a calm mind, everything is possible, just like this. And that is because of that positive energy Bhagavan gave us, because we were centered in Him. God requires only that. And He promises us, always remember this, He has always promised us, Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. I will take care of you. All that you need to continue your life in this world, I will take care. You see me in everything. That is enough. Such is the simple request by Bhagavan and all the saints. Why? It is for us to lead a good life. It is for us to reach Bhagavan. Because of His Karunya, He sent His avatars and saints and has given us so many texts and so many discourses to listen and reach Him. I would like to end my speech today, and I would like to thank the entire organization and the team for organizing this speech. नमस्ते, धन्यवादः, हरिः ओम्।